Hi, everybody. So we just got some news that the Trial of the Crusader and Trial of the Grand Crusader is going to be hitting PTR this weekend, and we're going to be also having a second PTR weekend testing later this month. So it's going to be a very, very exciting month. We can finally stop just mindlessly grinding Old War, and we can just focus on something new that's about to come. So the most important thing, I suppose, is we want to get our gear and we want to know what the best gear is. So I did a little bit of testing just to see what would be the best list for Fury Warriors. So um, I'm about to show that to you guys and talk a bit through it. So before we kind of go into the gear, I would just kind of want to just show my settings and what I have here for the simulator. So in case you guys want to do some testing yourself, you can kind of take a look at it. So looking at the encounter here, just the standard 3 minute encounter, execute and all that good stuff. Everything is pretty straightforward here. We are going to be testing single target, so we are going to be using Rend. Uh, if you need any help, kind of how to use Rand because it's a different stance and whatnot. I have my macro video that I posted, so you can check that out. The main GCD in phase one, our main GCD was Slam, but with the gear we're getting, the main GCD now is Bloodthirst. It's a couple hundred DPS increase. Just the standard stuff here. We want to kind of do everything over execute. Execute is our lowest priority. Let's assume we have somebody else putting up Sunders. We're not gonna maintain any of that. We're not gonna mess with trinket, desyncs, or any of that stuff. So we're gonna keep this all the same. I will change this to, even though this is a bit better, but I'll for ease of use, we'll go with an indestructible potion. Um, and we'll mess around with the food here depending on the setup later. So this is right now set up for a different set. I haven't equipped the BIS. Talents just pretty standard. We're gonna be using the improved shout build. We're not gonna be taking improved execute. We're not gonna be taking unbridled wrath. Everything is pretty straightforward here. Nothing crazy. Glyphs: glyph of whirlwind, glyph of rending, glyph of heroic strike. Which this is gonna be very very important for phase three. We'll talk a bit more about that once we go into tier sets. And I like to have both of my glyphs of commanding and battle shout in case I have to swap. I don't have that ugly 4 minute buff. Uh, it's just annoying. I like to have the full 6 minute buff. All the other glyphs are really irrelevant. So there's the charge one, but I always just rocket boots in, so I never really use charge. So that's kind of pointless on my end. So now kind of starting off with the phase two BIS list, right? So I have here pulled up a phase two BIS preset. It does have a little bit of armor pen missing, so we are gonna fix that real quick with adding some fractured gems because it is missing some armor pen. We are using the armor pen food so that way it's easier so we don't have to use as many gems. It's pretty much the same because the food gives you 40 strength and the armor pen gives you 40 armor pen. So whether you want to use the food or the gems, it's up to you. Really, it doesn't matter. Both kind of sim the same because it's the same amount. As you can see, it's 40 armor pen or 40 strength, which is the same thing where you're kind of doing with the gems, you're trading off strength for armor pen. I kind of prefer to use the food. So here, the armor pen soft cap. So since our armor pen is, let me pull up a calculator right here. Since the armor pen hard cap is 1399 or 1400, I like to use 1400. And our proc from Mjolnir is 751. So we're going to subtract 751. Our armor pen soft cap is 649. As we can see here, we're now at 659. It's a bit over, but we don't have any way of messing around with that because the gems give straight 16. So let's do a quick sim here just to see what our baseline is, and then we're going to see what kind of improvements we get as we go into the phase 3 gear. As you can see, the warrior, the simming is not the best. The warrior DPS is about mediocre as it gets, but uh, we'll see some improvements here in phase 3. So, and that's about that for phase 2. So let's go over this phase 3 bits that I've kind of put together here, and I'll kind of go through the decisions that I've made and potential swaps you can make and whatnot. So as you can see, we still have the same setup when it comes to the food, since we're at armor pen 654 with this gear. So we're using the hearty rhino food, so we don't have to use as many gems. Uh, and everything else is the same. The spec is the same. Everything is the same. Um, so let's, before we kind of go through all of this, let's kind of sim this out and see what kind of DPS increase we're getting here. And it's pretty substantial. I know some classes were simming pretty close to this in phase 2, and now we're simming this in phase 3. But it's still a 1750 DPS increase, which is good. And obviously, this kind of goes pretty crazy once we go into cleave fights. We're going to be even better than everybody else, so it's pretty good. Um, I've decided to kind of go with the 4 set for the best list. Even though the 4 set's going to be very difficult to get on the 258 with the whole heroic emblems and all that stuff that's going on in phase 3. But um, right now, as we take a look at our 2 and 4 set, our 2 set gives us a flat 2% crit chance, which is nothing fun or crazy, but it's pretty strong. Like 2% crit, it's pretty big. um, and then the 4 set is pretty big in my opinion. Increases the critical strike chance of your slam and heroic strike abilities by 5%. Slam, whatever, extra damage. But heroic strike is very important because that's going to make our rage even better. We're going to be less rage starved because Glyph of Heroic Strike. You gain 10 rage when you critically strike with your Heroic Strike ability. This is pretty important because Heroic Strike actually only costs 12 rage because we have this talent reduces it from 15 to 12. And then when it crits, we have only 2 rage cost. So that's huge because you always want to have Heroic Strike queued up on single target. So it critting more means it's going to spend less rage, means we're going to have more rage for our Bloodthirst, for our Slams, for our Whirlwinds. We're going to have more rage to play with so we can stance into Rend. It's just going to be all out great. In phase 2, don't get me wrong, Fury Rage is fine, but I do find myself sometimes have that dry, unlucky patch where I just it's going great, it's going great, it's going great, and then all of a sudden I got no rage for 5-10 seconds, and it feels terrible. So the fact that this is going to make that better and reduce the chance of us going into zero rage is going to be huge. So going with the helmet, we're kind of having the same setup as phase 2 because the legs are looking to be our best off piece. So it's pretty same. So you're gonna kind of swap your tier 8 to tier sets to tier 9 tier sets. Um, as you can see here, helmets, crit and hit. It's a pretty good hit. We don't need that much of, but with the rest of the gear, how it balances out, it kind of works pretty good. As you can see here, we're with this set, we're hitting 8.25% hit, which is pretty good. The other pieces are really not that amazing. I mean, it's crit and armor pen, and it's a crit and hit. Actually, this is just the alliance version. So it's all crit and armor pen. And even though armor pen is a good stat for us, we actually don't want so much of it because even in tier 3, I mean phase 3, I apologize. Um, we still are nowhere near being able to get to the hard cap of armor pen. So we actually don't want so much armor pen because it's useless. After the soft cap, it's kind of whatever, you know. So actually having this with hit is not that bad when you think about that. And obviously we have the standard. I decided to go with the epic tier to proc my meta gem here, get the 8 strength and all that good stuff. So let's talk about the next. So neck is pretty straightforward. This one is just looking better than everything else, just because all the other ones. The next 258 neck is this one right here, which just gives crit and hit, and this one gives us crit and haste. We don't need more hits, so this is just there's just no comparison to it really. As you can see, it's pretty close to the phase 2 BIS of our 252. And this is going to be kind of the story with a lot of the hard mode 25-man items. It's not going to be that big of an upgrade because we're only jumping up 6 item levels. There are some items that have better itemization. The biggest kind of differences we're going to feel is when we swap our tier gear because it's going from 232 to 258. And then when we swap our 10-man hard mode BIS items, because that's jumping from 239 all the way up to 258. So that's pretty straightforward. We have a red socket. So we got. I just decided to. It doesn't matter where you put your expertise gems, the ones that you need to kind of go over that expertise cap. So you just need the same amount of them. So here I decided to put the expertise rating gem, and it gives me an agility socket bonus here. Again, going with the tier gear. Actually, when it comes to simming with the stats, the tier pieces actually come up ahead because they have perfect stats, crit and armor pen. Not much really to talk about here. They're the highest item level they can be. They have a red socket with the strength socket bonus. It's just there's not much else to say. There's no other shoulders that really are as good as they are. So it's a straight pick. Um, Again, used expertise gems here, all pretty standard and straightforward. Here, I did use the kind of very, very hard to obtain 272 cloak. The only way you can get this cloak is if you clear the entire instance with no wipes at all on hard mode, and it's only going to drop one, and it has to drop the one you need, and you have to get it from everybody else. It's a pain. So this one, it's just crit, attack power, armor pen, agility, red socket, attack power. It's just amazing. It's the best for the entire expansion. Obviously, if you can't get this, the next best thing is the 10-man hard mode version of the same item. Uh, you are going to lose about 6 armor pen. And looking at the set that we have, that's going to put us at 248, which is only 1 point shy of the soft cap. So you can kind of decide and sim it out to see if you want to gem to be over or you want to just stay one under the soft cap. But I think it'd be fine. 648 armor pen would be fine, so you wouldn't have to change anything. Um, the other real pieces, I mean, the other options really are like this is the next best option here. If you can't get the 10-man hard mode one or this one, as you can see, Drape of the Faceless General is very close, even though it's 239, it's very close to this 258 cloak. Very, very close. Because this one doesn't have armor pen. It's crit haste. So if we got this one, I would argue it's not even an upgrade to try and get it. Because if you get this one, you have to gem armor pen elsewhere and whatnot. It would be a small DPS increase. We could sim that out and test it, but right now, you would be fine and not worried at all if you don't get any of these cloaks before you get any of these cloaks. I wouldn't really be worried about it. I would really focus on getting these 2 cloaks. If this one drops and you're in a guild and you're doing loot prio, I would not even roll for this. I would wait to get your priority on these cloaks right here, because this one is really such a small upgrade. It really is not worth the trouble. Again, amazing red socket attack power. We got strength in here. We got the engineering enchant right here, flex weave underlay, all good stuff here. So now looking at the chest here, it's pretty straightforward, same as for the shoulders. Um, it's a very beautifully itemized piece. It has crit and armor pen. Um, all pretty straightforward. It's very, very good. We got the powerful stats enchant. We got 2 red gems in here. It does have a blue and red socket, so it's not worth color matching. So we're going straight red gems. If it was an orange gem, it would be worth it, but because blue gems give stamina and a main stat, it's really not worth it because it's only 6 strength. If it was 10 strength for the socket bonus, we would be doing it. Uh, a lot of people do the nightmare tier in their chest for the bonus. But here I felt like it is much better to use it on the head because the head gives 8 strength, which is just more than 6. So it was a pretty clear decision on which blue socket to put the nightmare tier in. Now, moving over to the wrists, I did find that there are this kind of the gear itself, even though we're playing an orc and we're using axes, we're missing a lot of expertise. So there are better pieces that are potentially just stronger, like these ones that have 2 sockets and have crit and hit, but we don't really need hit. um then I mean, these are just 245, these are just whatever. um and then these are the next best ones that I found. They just give crit and expertise. We really need expertise, so these ones have been my pick because I could gem extra expertise. So this would be 57 expertise. So that would be about 3 gems. So that would be, I would be trading off 60 strength for 60 expertise. So if I took these best ones, apparently, I really wouldn't be gaining extra strength. I wouldn't even be gaining an extra good stat because I'd be getting hit that I don't need. So just in general, even though these numbers kind of show it's better, it it's really not. These are just better. And then we have a standard 50 attack power enchant. And since we do have a yellow socket, I decided to put in the strength and crit, and gives us an extra for strength. I did test all of these out to see, like, is it better just to go straight strength or do these? And these tend to be a bit of a DPS increase because crit is so good. Okay, weapons. Pretty straightforward. Again, we need 2 of the same weapons. Uh, these ones drop off of. I'm not certain what boss they drop off of, but I think that might be like a noob or whatever. But this is just pretty. The only pick really we have is these ones because like the swords, for example, crit and hit plus their swords plus their 3.4 speed. Nothing about them really says anything good. So these ones just crit, armor pen, 2 sockets. Again, we have the same story as we did with the Voldathar weapons. It's red and blue with 6 strength, which really isn't worth us doing the color match. So we're going just straight red gems, 3.6 slow weapon. We're going to get those big, juicy heroic strikes. All good. Everything is good. They are going to be, because we are using 2 weapons, we are going to be matching the swing speed. So you will need to use that swing desync macro that I showed in my previous video. Again, double berserking, pretty straightforward. And again, like I said, even though we are an orc right here, we do have the 5 extra expertise from axes. We're still missing a lot of expertise, so we have to compensate elsewhere. Yeah, these are pretty big, pretty big. I mean, they are only a 6 item level upgrade off of Voldathar. They're itemized the same, so it's just going to be a straight upgrade. Not a huge one, but still an upgrade. Ranged weapon crossbow. So I decided to grab these armor pen ones. Uh, these ones are only showing a little bit better, but I was kind of missing some armor pen, so I decided to go with these ones instead. So these ones give armor pen, gives us some haste. Not a great little socket. I mean, these ones here, even though they're yellow, they give 4 agility, so it really wouldn't be worth it either to color match. So it was a pretty straightforward decision right here to kind of go with these. These do give a bit more agility, 8, but just the armor pen. If I took this one for agility, I lose the armor pen. Because I lose the armor pen, then I have to give away strength for armor pen. So I think that the armor pen gain outweighs the agility gain. Plus, this just gives crit and haste is whatever. We're just going a straight armor, straight strength gem here because the color match doesn't matter. Go over to the last tier piece. It's crit and hit. Now, if we remember, our tier 8 gloves had expertise and hit, if I remember. So these ones are a bit better, but at the same time, they're worse because we are missing a lot of expertise. So I would really love if they were expertise hit, but we'll take some extra crit. Um, so this was kind of the piece that I was debating what I want to do. Do I want to go with the tier gloves and or do you want to go with the tier legs and to see which one of those two pieces would be my offset because the first three pieces were pretty straightforward, especially the chest and shoulders. Those were no brainers. If you do ever want to go and do a two set build, keeping the chest and shoulders are a complete no-brainer because they're just the best items you can get. So if you did want to do just a two set and test that out, these two pieces would be the ones that you keep. Everything else you could replace. So that being said, we did need a bit of hit at this point, so this kind of worked out all right. The other pieces here, so they do give good stats. It's crit and armor pen. This is very good. Again, these ones as well, crit and armor pen. They're amazing gloves. Don't get me wrong, they're amazing. But I just picked these because of the legs, which I'm going to get into real quick. Again, hyperspeed accelerators, all good. We did get a 10 expertise, 10 hit so we can get a perfect 216 expertise. That worked out pretty good. And yeah, pretty straightforward. So let's skip the belt real quick here and take a look at this. We're having the same item as before. We're keeping the Yogg 25 hard mode legs. Why? Well, because these ones give crit and armor pen. These ones are better, but they give crit and haste. Even though numbers say they're better, the armor pen that we lose, it just doesn't work out. So we're keeping these. So just the fact that and if we take a look at the Hell Scream legs, their crit and expertise, they're all the way down. So because it's just too big of a difference, they're just too much weaker than the ones up top. So that's why I decided to go with these. And plus, this makes it even better because we can keep our old BIS, which makes gearing just easier because these legs are just ridiculously strong. They're just amazing. So we'll keep these standard enchant. We're going 2 armor pen gems here and the strength gem. Legs, again, another piece that we're keeping from Old War. These these bad boys are just itemized so well compared to all the other legs. The Algalon boots, 2 sockets, crit haste, not that amazing, but still good stats overall. The next best ones, hit and armor pen. Armor pen is nice, hit not so much. Really, like with all the gear that we have, the only hit we're missing is 10 hit. This is the only hit gem that we have. This one right here. So 10 hit is what we're missing. That's even too much, as you can see. With the 10 hit, we're over, much over. If I did swap this for another gem, like whatever, as you can see, 749. So it is not good at all. I have to find this one real quick. I apologize. Let me just find this real quick. I always forget the name of this of the gem. I apologize. Where is it? There it is. Expertise and hit. So that's why we kind of picked that one because we are at 794. So that's why that gets us over. So why I'm saying that is because if we got this one, which gives us 76 hit, it would mess us up. If we were going like a 2 set, whatever, maybe it would be good. But with the 4 set build, because we get so much hit from our gloves and from our helmet, these end up being just the best ones. The other options, crit and expertise, they could work. I mean, they really could work, but it's just pretty much all the same. So actually, let's do this live here. So we have 11 1. Okay, So let's just do a quick swaparoo here. Let's see if we end up getting something better here. So if we use these ones right here, they're going to give us some extra expertise, right? Let's see what gems we have. We have straight strength. We're going to do a inscribed because we have 6 strength. We have a yellow socket. This is going to be a very good one. So let's take away some armor pen, some expertise here. Let's do this live here. Let's see how we end up, because we might be looking better here with these. So let's do a quick swaparoo. Bold. We're missing 5.5%. What else do we have? Expertise. There should be expertise somewhere else on my gear. We have too much expertise now. This is the problem with expertise. Let's see. Even with being over expertise capped, is it better? It is. Okay. So we can, so it's a small difference, but there you go. Like if you don't have the Algalon boots, these ones are going to be a good next pick for you. So it's pretty much 50 DPS difference. So you could go with these even if you're over expertise capped, which are going to be pretty good. Next one, we have crit and haste ring from Icehowl. Pretty straightforward. Nice stats. We got a yellow socket, so we can put in a inscribed Amortine. And then the next one, we have a crit and haste. Again, I think both of these are crit and haste. Yep, crit and haste. Again, this one right here, crit and haste. Blue socket, so we're doing a red gem in here. We are keeping our Mjolnir runestone because we do need a strong armor pen proccing trinket so we can get to our soft cap. There is no good ones really that drop in phase 3. There is one that has flat armor pen on it from the 5-man dungeon, but again, that doesn't bring us close enough to the hard cap, so we still want to go with the soft cap route, which is with this trinket. And then we're finally replacing our uh, Dark Moon card greatness with this one. It gives us attack power and it gives us 510 strength for 15 seconds, which when we compare it to Dark Moon card greatness, it is pretty much the same. Well, it's not the same. The Dark Moon card gave you 300, but it's a huge DPS increase. So it gives us the same buff. It just gives it for 210 more strength, and plus the 290 strength gave about 180, 200 attack power. This one gives 288. So in all aspects, it's a better trinket. It's a straight one-to-one upgrade from Darkmoon card, so that's as good as it gets. So there you go. This is kind of the set that I'm looking at. I might do a bit more optimization here and there. If you guys have any suggestions on what pieces we could maybe kind of swap out to kind of get a bit of a cleaner expertise, so we can maybe get some of this expertise into like crit or haste or something. I'll look down and I'll make some adjustments, and I can do kind of a follow-up video to kind of go over this and maybe make some adjustments. We still have some time until TOC, but this is kind of a rough general guideline. What could be our BIS list? I'm sure a lot of people are going to do much more testing and going to find out some tweaks here and there. But this is kind of something that I came up with a bit of testing, and it's about a 1800 DPS increase from phase 2, so that's pretty good. Thank you everybody for watching. If you do need help with any of the macros and stuff like that, I will have that video linked at the end. And if you want to see more of this content, I will be uploading a couple times a month. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss. And yeah, let's keep pumping with Warriors. We're getting close to the last phase where we're going to get Shadowborn and we're going to beat everybody. Enable the copium. See you later, guys.